Hello guys. So in this tutorial session we would like to be sure of how do we set up our SQL working environment. So I just prepared some a tutorial showing you how do you do that. So there are three notebooks. So the first one refers to prerequisites. How do we set up? How do we set them up for our MySQL connector in Python? Yes. So setting up MySQL connector in Python. So there are some prerequisites before installing the MySQL connector in Python. So yes, but I think is that one the first. Yes, I think is the first one. So now so you need root administrator privilege actually. So I already know that MySQL is a database management system. So it will be last during the pre-assessment week we just use SQLite, which was very useful if we want to deal with small data issue, small data manipulation, and similar. So now here it's I'll go through how to set up MySQL, because if we want to deal with some big problem in data manipulation, then we'll have to use this kind of database management system. So there are a lot. There are many systems. We have Oracle, we have Microsoft SQL Server, we have MySQL. Yes, we have MongoDB. So there are many, but yes, once you know how to use one, how to write a syntax in one programming language, the other comes easy. Yes, so that's why for this tutorial I'm going to focus on MySQL, and here I'm talking to you about the prerequisites before installing MySQL connector in Python. So you need an administrator privilege to perform the installation process. You have to install Python before in your machine, and the MySQL connector requires actually Python to be installed in the system's path. So yes, so how do we do that in Linux, and how do we do that in Windows also? So we have some description of the task. So now this tutorial actually apply to the following platform. So for Python, what are the, as we want to connect, Python and MySQL. So for Python, it's work with Python version 2 or 3, any of them, and it's also working with MySQL but greater than 4.1. So according to the version of Python you are using, it's you are going to use a version of MySQL 2. So now different ways to install MySQL connector in Python. So there are three. You can actually do that using the pipe command. You can also do that directly via the source code, and you can also use a build distribution to actually install the MySQL connector. So here are the different Python version. Yes, and the related MySQL Server version. Yes, and now you have for each MySQL Server version the supported Python version. Yes, so now great, you can choose the version as per your need. Yes, according to which Python are you using, you can actually choose your version. Yes, so now how to install the MySQL connector using the pipe command. Yes, so this is very easy. So using the pipe command, you can actually install the MySQL connector Python on any operating system platform, including Windows, Mac OS, Linux, Unix, and Ubuntu. So now this is actually the following the command I use myself to install the MySQL connector. So you can actually just copy this command and run it in your Anaconda prompts. Yes, in your Anaconda prompts. So but before you do that, you need to install MySQL. Yes, you need to install MySQL. You need to install Python also, and then so the Python we are using is the distribution, the Python distribution of Anaconda. So now we already see how to install Anaconda, and if you don't have it, you know how to do it. And once you do that, you will now come in your Anaconda prompt. Yes, uh, moving to the Windows Start menu here for those who are running on Windows. Yes, you will just start typing Anaconda, and you will actually get your Anaconda prompt. So now if you click on that, it will open the Anaconda windows. So now in the Anaconda windows, you will have to run this. Yes, to install the MySQL connector. But I recommend you finish downloading and installing either MySQL or Python before you do that. Yes, so MySQL and Anaconda before you do that to install the MySQL connector Python. So now if you are facing any issue related to things, so if you are having any issue while installing, please mention the version in the installation code. Yes, so like here for example, you know, in the above table I just specify the version things matching with each other. So now if you are having some installation issue, you could just think about how do we set up the installation using a specified version. Yes, depending on the Python you have, or depending on the SQL you have, you are gonna install a specific version. Yes, so now if you do that and it's not work properly, just do this by specifying the version equal to 8.0.11 for example in this case. So now if you continue having error about the certificate verify, for example, just do this. Yes, by specify the trusted the host. Yes, and yes, it should work. So now you have this or this or this, so you try this first. This is the simplest one. If it's not working, you can actually try to specify the version, or if it's not working, then you can actually try to use this to to get to provide more specificity, more information about how do you want to install this. So now verifying the MySQL connector Python installation. Yes, so once you have installed once you have run this code, how do you know, how are you sure your environment is making ready, so it will appear in your screen, in the Anaconda prompt, you will be having something like this. So collecting MySQL Python, downloading the packages, requirements satisfying, blah blah blah. So if you have all the things, then you know that yes, we are installing uh, the MySQL connector Python. So now at the end, you should be sure you have this successfully install MySQL Connector Python. So once you have that, you are sure your environment is ready and can be just load in Python or Jupyter Notebook to work with. So now this is actually how do we do using pipe command. But remember at the beginning I just enumerate three ways to install the MySQL connector Python. So now apart from the pipe command, you actually have the source code distribution choice. So now and you also have the build distribution possibility. So how do we actually install using the source code distribution on Windows? Yes, so you have to follow the below instruction to download platform independent zip. So go to download the MySQL connector Python for Windows from here. So I provide a link here which will direct you to the good page. So now the URL automatically opens the latest version of MySQL connector Python. Yes, and so if you have the latest version of MySQL and you have the latest version of Python, of course you will use the latest version of MySQL connector Python. So now if you want to use the other version which is compatible with your Python version, yes, just specify that. And now yes, so you follow the process and you download your MySQL connector, and from there you can actually install it. So how do you install? You will have to unpack or extract the zip archive in the intended installation directory. Yes, so for example the C, and you're going to see a drive, and then in the MySQL connector folder. So now using 7-zip, yes, we have 7-zip, but you can also use another tool that can read a zip file. Is okay. So the times you are, if you are able to unzip, then it's okay. So you unzip in the folder, and then you start a console window and change the location of your folder where your unpacked yes package are. So now you can actually do this like that here. So you will actually go in the C drive, and then in the MySQL connector where your unzip package are located. So now inside you will have to run this. So Python setup py install. Yes, so now if you run this, then you will have the installation done. So how do we verify the MySQL connection Python install? Yes, so you will verify the installation using the following steps. So on Windows, the default MySQL connector Python installation location is here. So now so you will just have to be sure that all those three requirements are satisfied, and then you are sure that your MySQL connector is verified. So now how do we do the same with the with Linux? Yes, with Linux. So two ways to install MySQL connector. Yes, with MySQL Linux Mac, and so install using the source distribution code, or install using the build distribution. So here you don't have the pipe option, but it's okay. So now you will go to the MySQL connector for Linux page. From here I provide a link which will direct you for, and now you follow these steps, and now so you download and you install using terminal, and yes, so you do that. here you specify version, and so if you go, I know you you just have to go through and try and make it. So now how do you verify? I also describe the steps here, for example, and now how to do the same thing on macOS. So here is how can you from where to download actually the executable, and yes, so you have a link here, and you have the steps also describing how do you install, and then how do you verify. So after you have done all this, depending on which operating system you are running on, you will actually have the your MySQL ready to work. So now if I think I have already installed, I'm running on Windows. So now if I just go in my start, I move in my start Windows start menu, and I start typing MySQL, it should appear. Yes, so you have either the MySQL sheet or the MySQL bench workbench. So now you see my version actually is the 8.0, and so the app, and now I can just let me just open. Exactly. So now if I open, you will have the interface. So I would like to present you the interface here. So now here you have your achievement, yeah, the navigator, and here is where you can actually write your code. So here you see I just write a select all from this. Yes, so this database and dot, and now I choose a table. So MySQL come with some database, some CME test pre-install. So here you have the circular database, you have the system database things, you have the word database. So this one is a test data I just created to test my environment. So you know how to create a database. There is a query for that. Check it online, try to see if it's working. If you are able to create a database, then it's working. So now I think yes, it's okay. So now in the circular table, yes, if you click here to have more details, then you have all details about the tables actually located in this database. So now you have the actor table, you have the address, you have the category, you have the country, you have everything else related to 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 those to this database. And now you can actually try a query to see if your environment is working properly. So later I will show how to install the MySQL, and I think I have a very good videos to do that, a video tutorial to do that. So I think I provided somewhere later in yes, today this time tutorial. So by reading the document you should see, I think it's in one of the notebooks. Yes, so this is just to present you the environment. Yes, so once you execute your query, yes, how do you execute it? You will have to explore it later. I think what I wanted you to do this time is to download and to set up to install, and then to be able to explore like that. Yes, and writing small query to see how it's working. So if I run, you can run it here. Yeah, I run the query select all from the actor table from the circular database. So now you have all the results here. You have the actor ID, you have the first name, the last name, and yes, everything else related. So you have the window, the window printing the result here. Yes, so the result grid. Here you have your query, and here you have the action output things. So now once you have this, during the installation, know that you will be asked to for example put a password. Yes, you feel free to actually choose your password. Yes. And yes, how do you say this? Okay, so this is I select user, actually give you your username. Yes, for this localhost server. So now uh, so you need your username, and you also need a password actually to access any database from within a programming environment. And that's what we are going to do. How to set up now, how do we access data, how do we read data from this. Yes. And from our Python. Yes, we stay in Jupyter Notebook. How do we actually call data from here, and how we pass data to here also. So this is all I wanted to show you about the MySQL Workbench. So now moving so far to the tutorial, the notebook. Is there something? Yes. So now how do we select from MySQL table? Yes, so this tutorial is going to demonstrate how to issue a SQL select query from. So this select query is the basic one. So if you are able to the target, the objective of this is just to test your environment, just to be sure that everything is working fine. So if we are able to to execute a select query properly, this means we are okay, we are aligned. So that's why I make it simple. Python select from MySQL table. So now, yes, so you are going to learn how select operation was from Python. Yes. And now yes, there are some prerequisites. So the prerequisite is about the username. Yes, before you are you follow the program, you have to know your username, and I previously showed that. How do you do that in, yes, how do you print your username, select username. Yes, and you just have to do that. So you have query here. If I do it, I just try to to open a new query. You just have to open a new query windows, and actually try to select the user, and you will get the username. So once you do that, you also have to know uh, your table. Data is about your table and your database from which you want to extract data. So now following are the steps to fetch row from a MySQL table. So you have to install the MySQL connector using pipe. This is only one option. This is an option. You have other option I just explained in the previous Jupyter notebook. So now establish the connection to the database from Python. Define the select statement query. Execute your query using the cursor execute, and yes, get the result using the cursor the cursor feature function. And then yes, so close your connection. Yes, and work with your variables. So now this is actually a sample of code which is doing the work properly. So here you can see that I'm just importing the MySQL connector. I have already installed using Anaconda, using the pipe function, the pipe command. So now from this I just import error, and I try all this. So now this basically open a connection. Yes, so this is all the way we done. So this is very important because this is gonna open set up your connection. So if your Python is working, if your SQL is working, if your MySQL connector is working properly, this should work. So this is how I test your environment, your SQL environment, your Python environment, and your MySQL connector. So now you have to use the connect function from the MySQL connector, and then you specify the host name, the host name, the database name, the user, and the password. So remember, here we are running locally, so I'm using the local host. And for the database, I'm focusing on the circular database. I just show you in the MySQL Workbench. So here for the user, I'm using the root and the password. This is the password I provided where I was installing the MySQL, so you will get it also. And using this, you are going to open your connection and use this connection to select all from the actor table, for example. Yes, so now later you go through the code to see, and then once I do that, I close. But before I close, I just print every information I want from the table actor. So as you know, the structure of the table is such. I have 4 columns: actor ID, first name, last name, and so now if I actually move here, you will see that in the actor table you have exactly the same: the actor ID, the first name, the last name, and the last update. So now this is how it looks. Yes. So now, to understand the Python SQL select query program, you just have to go through those steps. I just provide description of what each function is doing. So it's very similar to what we did with SQLite in the pre-assessment week, but this one is yes, it's more about MySQL. And I think it's okay if we are working with a huge amount of information, for example, because SQLite is, you know, you want to deal with small data management problems, then it's okay. But the right thing, the right tool is a full database management system, and MySQL is one. Yes. So now, once you do that, you know how to, we already did the thing. We have test Python, we have test MySQL, we have test MySQL connector. So now here I just provide you a program. Yes. So as this week challenge is related to Twitter mining. Yes. So I just provide this to help you. How do you actually stream? Yes, stream Twitter data into a MySQL database. Yes, so this is possible because if you know how to deal with the Twitter API and how to deal with a MySQL database, and you have the 3P and the MySQL connector libraries installed, I think you can easily get your information, your data from Twitter, and from Python you patch them to your MySQL server. Yes, so now uh, all about Twitter API you already know, so I will not take time to explain. And all about MySQL Workbench. Yes, so you also know this, but I provide small documentation you can actually go for to get deep skills, deep knowledge about that. So basically, what do we want to do? So we want to extract from tweets the username of the person who wrote the tweet, the time it was created, the tweet, the retweet count, the place, the location. So this corresponds to 6 columns plus the primary key, and we can define the data as follow. So in our database, in the MySQL Workbench, we can actually create first a database related to this project. So we can actually call the project, let's say, tweet db, twitter db. So now we create the database twitter db. Here we can do it. Here, create, the command, create database. Yes, so you create the database, yes, from here. So if it's Twitter, yes, so you just create the database Twitter db. From here you create your database. Yes, and from here now you create your table. So the tables will have a structure, so 6 columns, and each columns formatted like that. So create table function is gonna help you creating your tables in the SQL workbench. And now from Python now you need to create a class. Yeah, you already know how to create a class to connect to the Twitter API, you know, all that thing. And now for the connection about your Twitter and your SQL database, we you can actually create set up all those things in the setting file, which you can just call in your program using this. So now once you do I think I provide the overall code here. Yes, so if you this code should actually work if you have everything set up. So basically how it works, I will just show you. So here you are importing all the libraries required, and here the setting files, the file which contain all about your environment. So Twitter consumer KPI, the consumer secret, the access token, and now your database also, the password in your database, and so everything. So now your access token, you have everything set up in this file. You can actually create it and set up then, and then call the information from here. So those are the key information we are going to use in the following. So you guys already know that. So here I'm just creating a function that will use the username, the creator, the tweet, the retweet count, the place, and the location. Yes, to actually do what? To insert them in the database. So using this. Yes, so if I have those information, I will just if I have those input from the Twitter API, from Twitter using the Twitter API, then I can just open now the connection to my database. Yes, using this password, using the user, using the database. I already show you that, and now I can just insert information. Yes, in my database. Yes, so if I do that, I will just close the connection, and now so this is the class to access Twitter API. So you already know that how to perform this. So I describe everything. How do you extract information? The username is just in the raw data, and now is actually the screen name. The create at is referring to the creator. The tweet is the test, and the retweet count is just the retweet count. So now if you can actually do that, you know, try. If it's okay, then your environment is working. So now you have also the location. So all those information, you collect the information using the Twitter API, and then you pass the information from your MySQL Connector Python to the MySQL database we create. And once you have that, it's okay. So so this is what this code do. So later you go through and you read, and if it can help you in your weekly project, then it's okay, it's great. Yes, but I think yes, because you are streaming a lot of data from Twitter actually, and yes, yes, passing streaming all those data into a database system will just make it maybe more easier. So instead of using pandas to actually manipulate data, you can just use SQL, I think. So try try. You are not required to use that necessary, but if it can help, it's okay. I just provide it to help you, to show you how can you actually do with Twitter data. Yes, so it's gonna be all for this time tutorial, and thank you for following. Let's talk another time. Yes, let me see.